Okay, up next on tonight's DJ convention, we have got Mitch Taylor. Mitch Taylor is a sales professional, teacher, trainer. The man knows his stuff. Mitch, tonight, let's look at some of the best of your 750. You're live at 7:55. Your morning show you do pretty much every day.
Yeah, every weekday we host live at 7:55 on my Facebook feed, and I thought it'd be good to kind of do a best of or top three, if you will, kind of thing.
Excellent.
To give you some of that content again here.
So let's jump right into it. Now, the first one you're going to talk about is something that all of us have, some of us use, is dealing with voicemail.
So this one was based upon a mentor of mine, Jeffrey Gittimer. And Jeffrey really hones on end boring voicemail, or I like to call it voice jail, because that's really what you're in. You're trying to get a hold of someone. Someone's trying to get a hold of you. We've both been in that situation either way, right?
Yes.
As the consumer or as the business.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it. You are in the fun business if you're a DJ, if you're a photo booth operator. And so your voicemail needs to portray a fun business. Everyone has the same old, boring voicemail. Hello, you've reached Mitch at Tailored Weddings. They're not available to answer your phone right now. I mean, seriously.
Yep.
We can almost script it out. I can almost tell you exactly what I mean, yours is a Pink Panther theme when I call, so that's cool. But, but you get to my point. But the Pink Panther theme is perfect for you. And that's the point, is you want to create something that is going to stick in their minds.
Right.
That's going to be different. So when was the last time you changed your voicemail? When was the last time you threw that curveball of something different for the people that you're serving on a regular basis? Mm-hmm. Now, self-admittedly, I don't think I've changed mine a little bit, so I need to change mine soon again. However, if you call Tailored Weddings, it is completely different.
It is.
Voicemail.
Yes.
It's not the same old voicemail. Please leave your number after the tone. It's not that. I mean, you have caller ID now. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're going to see what the number is, right? Yep. That pops up on the screen. So you shouldn't have to leave the number after the tone at all. So let's give you some quick tips.
There we go. Yeah, I was just going to say.
To help to wow your voicemail for your clients. First off, don't start with hello. Everyone starts with hello, or thank you for calling XYZ DJ kind of thing. Start with something completely different. Start with a question surrounding your USP, maybe. What is your USP? Hopefully you know what that is. Now you're talking, and then they're listening. Mm-hmm. Because they're expecting to get, hello, you reached so... You're not giving them that.
Right, you're interrupting that whole process.
Immediately it's a shift. Maybe you're like, okay, I don't really know how I want to go about that. Maybe you're not that creative. Who in your life is creative? Well, if we think about it, kids. Kids never forget how to play. We as adults have lost the art of how to play. But our kids, they know how to play. Mm-hmm. So increase your cuteness factor. Have your kids record your voicemail for you. That's going to stand out. Sure. Most people love kids. Bonus points if they say something funny while they're leaving the voicemail, or give them an outline of what to say, and you can almost hear you whispering in the background, possibly, or something like that.
Coaching them.
No. Yeah, you're coaching them. Yes, humor is the fastest way to connection. And another tip for you, end with why they should work with you or connect with you. Create a wow experience with how fast you actually return their call. Now, sometimes you could argue we're not getting all these voicemails anymore anyway, but if you do get it, this is a way to stand out. So the key is to find that way to stand out from the competition. Give you a couple different ideas there. And being different will create that mental shift in your potential client to stand out. So a few tips there for ending boring voice jail.
So, Mitch, one of the things when I'm calling a lot of friends or a lot of colleagues in the industry, I get that boring old, the one that's basically built in voicemail. Is that something that would be better than the "Hi, this is John, and you can leave a message" type of thing? That's which one would be worse?
I would still encourage you to not do the standard canned one that exists currently, with your cell phone provider or your business operator, whatever it might be. Just skip the can and skip the standard. Go for something unique and different. Create that mental shift. Maybe you could have one of your local venues that love you record the voicemail for you.
Nice.
Do you have a local photographer that you just work all the time with, work well with? Do each other's voicemail. Hey, I know you're expecting to get Danielle, but this is Mitch, and you've got Danielle's business. And this is Mitch from Tailored Weddings or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right,
and so that might be a shift. Like, oh, wow, okay, so this is the person, that's the guy that she recommends for entertainment. That's the photographer that Tailored Weddings recommends all the time.
Right. Well, you need the idea.
A different shift.
Yeah, just that unexpected, that little surprise that makes people stop for a second and say, ooh, unusual. So great way, some thoughts to end that boring voicemail. Let's jump to our second topic tonight. Now, this is kind of getting into time management just a little bit when you did this one. Kind of tell us a little bit about this 3-step process.
So 3-step process, we look at how many minutes do we have in a day. There's 1,440 minutes in a day. And realize that you can change your perspective, your thought process, what happens to you. I heard a quote just recently: life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I've heard that, yes.
And I forget where that original came from, but a good friend of mine brought it out the other day, and I'd heard it before, and I'm like, that's a great quote. And it's so true from that standpoint of, focusing on what you're going to get accomplished that day. So what I encourage people to do is that's 1,440 choices in a day. Just if you're having something, you're reacting to, and all of a sudden it's that negative, whatever it is, you can choose to just hit that pause button and pause, and then think about what you're going to do to move forward. So a great exercise that I've done in the past is make a choice. What are you going to start? What are you going to stop? And what are you going to continue? So think about things in your life that you want to start doing, and pick one. Just pick one, because let's not overwhelm ourselves too crazily here.
Yep, for sure.
So pick one. So for me, a while back, one of the choices I made was, if I'm texting someone and it's going to be 3 texts in a row or more, I'm going to start, instead of keeping that conversation going, I'm going to pick up the phone and call them. Sure. That's my start. Pick up the phone and call, because as we both know, things get lost in text.
Certainly, yeah.
And you don't understand fully what someone means behind the words they are saying. You could interpret it completely different than how they mean it. So again, what are you going to start doing differently based upon that choice you make out of the 1,440 choices you have all day to make? So that's start. Stop. What are you going to stop doing? So for me, that was stop dwelling on things that you can't control. I learned a long time ago, a friend of mine said, half of the things we worry about never come to pass.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that is so true. There's too much else to risk in your life, your future, your health, your time, with kids, with the wife, with the family. I just, there's too much. So if you stop dwelling on things you can't control and focus on what you can control, that's a good thing to stop doing. Stop focusing on what you can't control. Again, you may have your own individual start and stop.
Right.
But think about what that process could do for you if you truly, think about your day as 1,440 choices. What are you going to start? What are you going to stop? And what are you going to continue? That's the final one in this. So for me, that was continue to do my best to make a difference. Whether that is continuing to do live at 7:55, continuing to write blog articles. We do a blog article a week on my website, mitchtaylor.net. Whatever it is you're continuing to do, like John, you're continuing DJN TV series, you're continuing to make a difference in the industry. So pick something, stick with it, and move yourself forward in regards to the start, the stop, and the continue.
Yeah, and I think as you mentioned, each of us are going to have a different list of things that we want to start. It might be, I want to start exercising on every day and walking a half mile. Again, I think that part of this is having those definitive goals of what you're going to do when you start something. The stop one, though, is probably the one I think, at least for myself, is the area in which I need to do the most. Because there's so many little things in our lives that just eat that time away. When you're mentioning time with family, there's just these time bandits everywhere in our lives, and we have to really be able to decide, which ones are that I need to stop. And then, of course, there's some things that we do that are for the betterment of our family, for our industry, society, whatever, that continue. So, those are our three definite neat ways to kind of think about that. Okay, so let's jump into our last one here. We can spend a little bit more time on this one. And this is something actually, Mitch, that talking about customer service, and this is an area which is in the DJ community is always discussed. But I think if the discussions that we see within the DJ community on Facebook would go to a business coach outside of our industry, I think they'd be horrified at what some of us would consider their customer service in how they are handling their situation. So the last one here, we're going to talk about putting the word serve into customer service. So for those who are wondering a little bit about that, kind of define that for us.
Service.
Oh, hang on. That's we bumped out again.
So I thought you were froze there for a second, or I did.
Yeah, mine came through. So I set you up with tell us more about putting the serve in customer service. So let's just keep a little quiet for a few seconds and.
Putting the serve in customer service to me is what you need to do today in business to stand out. It's not enough just to return the phone call. It's how fast you return the phone call. It's not enough just to meet with them when you say you're going to meet with them. You have to find wow points throughout the process with a client to be able to show them to be able to show them that you really care about their event. It's little details. The devil is in the details. For example, I had a client come in this morning and she was ready to come in. How many of you in your daily hustle bustle, daily life, do you just have them come in off the street and then you pull up their information and you start talking, but you have nothing pulled in from when you first talked with them? You could have egg on your face if they all of a sudden you're talking about, we're gonna rock your party, and they're like, we're not even gonna have a dance floor.
Yeah.
That's not really great customer service. Putting the serve in customer service to me is going above and beyond. And it's also a factor of, me, the owner of the company, and this is getting into multi-talent companies, whether you have a photo booth with multiple employees or whatever it might be. I'm never going to ask my team to do something that I wouldn't do. Like, I'm not above, as we work in rural areas in the Midwest, John, sometimes they don't even have staff per se, catering staff. Like, you're the person at the party running the event. There's no wedding planner. There's no catering staff. It's you, So I'm not above clearing plates, believe it or not, to break down a table to make room for a dance floor. I'm not about pouring champagne, whatever it takes.
Yep. How many times a person has taken a tray of beverages up to the head table for either getting ready for the toast or just to make sure they had something to drink during the meal.
Yeah. So for me, it's whatever it takes to move that event forward. Putting the serve in customer service, though, doesn't have to be just at the event. Like I said before, it needs to happen beforehand. It needs to happen all the way through your entire sales process with your clients. And it really starts from the moment they contact you and even prior. What is your imagery out there? What is the word on the street about your company? And then during the contact, how do you wow on the contact? For me, it's responding to people right away. I had a gentleman message me literally just 2 days ago. Hey, me and the boyfriend are getting married. I'm like, awesome. I've responded right back to him in the same language, verbiage that he's hitting me with, and so that's what you have to do to wow them, to serve them properly, in my opinion, is to step up and don't just do what you're promising. You have to go above and beyond.
So so you've given a few examples here. So for those who are watching, just to kind of give an opposite side of a couple of your examples. First off, the text message. An example of serving those is they're going to communicate by that methodology, and you are returning and reflecting and giving them what they need via that methodology. For those of us out there who are wondering, it's like, well, what does it look like when you don't serve, putting the serve in customer service? That's the situation where you say, oh, here's my website, go fill this out, and I'll contact you via phone. I'll give you a call later. There's where we start to fall. Or the situations where we're at a venue and those tables need to be cleared, and we're back there standing like this saying, well, it's the venue's job.
Yeah.
I think that as a DJ, we just too many overlook that we're here to facilitate. We're here to be of assistance to making this day something.
Yeah. Too many think that's not my job. Let me tell you something. You're in the customer service business. You may think you're a DJ, you're in the music business, you're in the entertainment business. No, you're not. You're in the customer service business. If you don't like people, get out.
There's the door, and use it.
Oh my gosh. It just drives me nuts. Well, it's the meme, John, of the I don't take requests.
Yeah, exactly. And I think,
you know what I mean?
And it astounds me as I'm reading these chat and a number of people who are like, oh, that photographer was doing something and this, and it's like, they're ruining my show.
It's not your show.
Wow, I did not know that they put this wedding together just so you could have an awesome show. I didn't know that.
So let me say this. Sometimes a DJ or a performer will have a show that is well known enough or talented enough to stand on its own, and a bride or groom or a conference organizer or whatever will hire that talent for that show. Those are extremely few and far between.
Exactly.
Extremely few and far between. And if your phone's not ringing and you're not booked solid, guess what? You don't have that kind of show.
It's pretty easy when they're calling and saying, "Hey, I want you to perform and do what you do." You might have that show. If they're like, "I want you to come and help make my day special," you've got skills, but they're not here to. Yeah, it's
not about you.
Yeah, it's how you can help create something with them and serve them. So for those who are they might struggle with how do I know how to serve the clients and such, because there's obviously different, some people meet more often, different things such as that. Is there a way that someone who is kind of doing the DJ thing part-time, how are they going to know when to step up and serve, or how to get there? I mean, is there anything that could help them to make those decisions to be better at that?
I think you need to observe to serve. You need to step back and look and see what is not happening here that could be done to make this event better. Is it strictly opening a door? Is it looking at, here's a great example. We did a ceremony and reception at, it was a beautiful wedding, probably one of my top 3 weddings ever. And it was at her parents' house, and the dad owned a logging company, and dad actually cleaned out his entire garage and repainted it and everything else for the wedding reception. Her mom was dying of cancer, and she wouldn't last much longer until April of the following year, actually. So she lasted another 6 months. So long story short, inside the reception, the garage, logging garage, here's me and my assistant, and we're playing cocktail music and making sure guests are taken care of. And I look out and see all the chairs are still there from the ceremony. There's no staff.
Yeah, that's family.
Okay. So, Haley, come on, let's go. We're going to pack up these chairs.
Mm-hmm.
And we did it. But again, you have to observe. Is it, a case of you're observing, right? You're a DJ. You're observing the room. It's part of reading the crowd. So to serve grandma better, if she's really close to the speakers, bring it down. Or if you notice people leaning in to talk, that might be a little too loud for that group. So you have to observe to serve people first and then take action upon it. And the other thing I think is knowing your client. Like, you can't serve someone exceptionally well, unless you have information about them.
Right. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
It's no different. This may not be the greatest example, but even going to a drive-through, for crying out loud. You're going to tell them, listen, hold the mayo, hold the pickles, whatever. You're telling them what you want. You're telling them how to serve you, right?
Yes.
So they need to listen and observe what you're saying in order to serve you properly.
And that's just a little small thing. When we're talking a wedding or a party or an event, there's so many more variables involved with that if you're not listening,
oh my gosh,
and you're not paying attention or getting to know the couple, even on a superficial level, the argument could be made that you probably can't even really serve them properly.
One of the things we ask in our planning side of things, John, and we start our planning process 6 to 4 months prior to a wedding, is, are there any sensitive subjects or situations that we should know about? And most couples are like, oh, no, I don't think anything. And seriously, this happens way more often than not. Later on in the conversation, we get into something and something pops up where there's family dynamics going on, or, my brother's an alcoholic, got to make sure we watch him later kind of thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Different things.
Yeah.
But if you don't ask those kinds of questions up front, how can you serve your client well?
Yes.
You may put yourself in a situation that could be embarrassing for the client and or yourself. So in order to serve, you have to dig deeper and ask questions. Observing is just part of it. You have to still get into the planning side, I feel anyway.
Yeah.
And dig deeper on the questions.
Mm-hmm. And really that becomes part of those things that make you as a DJ different than just music.
Yes.
Even though we're going to play music, they're going to dance, they're going to have a good time. There's so much more behind that to really be effective and to be something that people will say, that Mitch, I really like Mitch. He was there, he took care of us, and these little things he did for us, it was just a great day. You got to hire Mitch.
Well, and DJs complain all the time about being set up in the corner, or about not getting the respect they deserve, or about not being included in the timeline, or all these different things.
Right.
It starts with communication. That's what it starts with. And if you have the communication in advance, you can avoid a lot of this. You can avoid pitfalls in the timeline. You can avoid layouts that aren't conducive to a successful event if you just start earlier.
That's for sure.
That's why we start 6 to 4 months out.
To make sure.
And a lot of my DJ friends think I'm crazy. But in order for me to guarantee you know,
That level of
what
service
we have to do.
Yeah, to be able to do the best job for your client. So,
Yeah.
Mitch, if people want to catch the live at 7:55, that is broadcast on where?
On my Facebook feed. So facebook.com/Mitch Taylor. Just search the hashtag live at 7:55 if you'd like, as Facebook is an aggregator for hashtags as well. And you can watch those videos till the cows come home.
Excellent.
There's a ton of them.
You guys can check that out weekday mornings. Mitch does that show. Mitch, thank you much for being on tonight.
Thank you, John, for having me.